Somebody. Steph. I got you in a second.
Got a Keller referral last week from a client that I have yet to do business with 3 weeks ago. Contacted the referral. He interviewed 15 minutes at that point, and we got the listing of the introduction of the friends.
Nice job. Congratulations. Mr. Soto, what do you got?
First 2 listings last week.
Nice. Congratulations. How long have you had a license now?
Well, I got it.
Well, how long have you been?
April of last year, but I didn't start until.
Started like February, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I started January Ignite, but I didn't actually work the business until I finished Ignite.
Yeah.
A couple weeks.
Yeah, good for you, man. Jordan, what do you got?
Yeah, my name is Jordan Concepcion. We're part of the Cornerstone Investment Group team, along with Aaron, my team with Al, new deal. We closed the deal with one of the agents in the office, Kim Tran, Team T Realty Group. We had three full price offers the first day. It was actually a few hours when it hit the market. Had a buyer come up $40,000 above this price. Went in escrow on a Tuesday, removed all contingencies on a Thursday, closed within 2 weeks, all cash.
Nice. And for those of you who don't know, they're commercial brokers, so was that an apartment building?
Yeah.
What was the price point on it? What was the price point?
$1,150,000.
Yeah.
So it was listed at $1,075,000. So we had an all-cash buyer go $40,000 above this.
That's great. Yeah.
Within 24 hours, I think the important thing is to point out that Jordan, myself, Al are all specialized in apartments. It was a retail guide. Being in touch with the market, being engaged with buyers and sellers, and specializing in apartments and retail like we do,
Yeah.
able to drive 3 written offers in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So if you guys are ever, have a client that's interested in apartment building or retail, come to us. We are separate from Mark Hughes. Mark is not our boss. We're a separate team. So we just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
Appreciate the opportunity to work.
And something to just point out, last week somebody, and I wish I could remember who it was, came in my office and they said, well, I got this listing and they have a tenant and it's a mess. And they said, well, what are they paying rent? What do they want? And I said, I think that may pencil as a commercial deal. I went and I knocked on Nunzio's door and I said, hey, this is an SFR, but it's about a 7.5, 8 cap. Do you think you could sell it? And he's like, I probably have 5 buyers for that. So remember these guys as a resource. They're here every day and they're doing some good stuff.
Right next to Jerimiah. We know the market like the back of my hand. Probably better than we know each other.
Yeah. Mr. Lowe, what were you going to say?
Last year was a great year when I did saw one buyer, which is my family. We went in escrow on Friday after a year of looking for a new house for us.
Congratulations.
After 6 counters digging, Carmel Valley Coast Escrow and First American who we wanted to work with, even though they wanted to use the Berkshire.
Yeah.
So if that
Cool.
worked,
Thank you very much. Congratulations on your house, by the way. All right, I got a lot of statistical stuff to cover, so all the high C's can get really excited because we're going to nerd out a little bit. Well, let's start with movement and then escrow. What do you guys got? You got a movement tip for us?
Really quick, the market's just starting to tick up a little bit, you guys. Bond market lost a few basis points over the last week, so the rates are still great. We're still closing all of our government loans, VA loans, in 21 days or less. We don't know if anybody else is doing it. It's just because of our 6-hour underwriting, so keep that in mind when you guys get into a competitive situation trying to get your offer accepted. I'm going to pass around sign-up sheets. So Tuesday next week, we're going to have a lunch and learn, and it's going to be 101 lead generation ideas. So if you guys attend and take that opportunity to come and sit with us, you'll walk out of there with 101 ideas, maybe some of them new, because really it's all about just generating business, finding the source of business. And there might be some things that you guys are overlooking that maybe was an opportunity that you didn't realize. And so, speaking of opportunity, sometimes when the opportunity is presented, some people act on it, right? Some people don't. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Right. Well, here's an opportunity that I'll trade somebody right now this 50 for a 20.
I'll be a leader and not take it. Who's the first one that's got a 20? There you go, Chris.
You gotta grab it? Yep.
Go, girl.
Cool. So that's somebody that took advantage of an opportunity and just like, boom, and went up. So come join us. Maybe you guys will learn something and you'll give yourselves a new opportunity on how to lead generate. And I'll do it again. I'll trade this for a 10. Here's another opportunity, guys.
Hurry! You better hurry up and run up there. I love it.
Okay, cool. Oh, a 5? Anybody want an opportunity to earn a quick double your profit?
I have 5.
No, a 5. I didn't say 5 singles. A 5. Anybody have a 5? Here's an opportunity.
Oh.
I'm moving tables if I have
My
to.
unlock. Okay, there we go. So guys, here's just an opportunity to come sit with us. This is going to be our coffee money. So take the opportunity to join us. You guys sign up. It's going to be next Tuesday at noon. We'll do lunch. And then Steven's got something real quick too.
I got another opportunity here.
I hope you brought the $1,000 bills.
Even better. So we negotiated a car wash for you guys next Thursday. It's a hand car wash. Normally $35. For $17.50 you get a mobile car detail. And Thursday we'll send out a
Very cool. Thanks, man.
And that's why, so that you can...
yeah, you can show homes in a nice new car.
Sweet.
And Jeremiah's giving a car away.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's going to be here, it's fully licensed, bonded, used by guys for 20 years. And, yeah.
King, Carrie, what do you got? Escrow tip for us?
Happy Spring Forward, everyone. We just wanted to remind you that the second half taxes are now due on properties, and if you have closings this month, we've had a few calls come in with questions about how to handle it. If you're closing close to the middle of the month, and you don't, or the end of the month, you don't want your buyers to have to get late penalties on their taxes. One thing that we recommend is that they get a cashier's check payable to the county and bring it to us so that we can have title send it in to track those. Otherwise, what's gonna happen is they're gonna have to hold the amount of taxes plus the penalties, which is a little bit higher on the second half than it is on the first half. So if you, for your sellers to avoid that, they need to have clearance of funds, the front and back of a check showing it has cleared, or just get a cashier's check payable to the county assessor's office and have them bring it to us so we can take care of it through escrow and track it so we don't have to hold the money. Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Brad is, I don't see Brad. No, so no broker tip. Jim's dealing with an issue. Just me. Anything else? Jude, anything you want to add? Oh.
No, I don't think so.
All right, hang on. Iris, then Joy Lynn.
Okay, so I don't know, many of you know our sweet Nicole McIntosh, Curtis Gabhart's other half, and she is having spinal surgery today. And so I posted this on her Facebook page. She's having a replaced crushed disc and her spine fused. So she's kind of going to be out of commission for a little while. So we're organizing this Take Them a Meal. If you go to takethemameal.com, it's on there, and you can sign up to cook a meal, to buy a meal, to have it sent, to have me deliver it, whatever you want. So for your ease, I'm just going to pass this around. It's got the website on it. And if you just want to sign up on here and not go to the website and just put that you'll do something, I'll reach out to you and we'll schedule it. So thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. You want to follow that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you got?
Okay. Well, hi everybody. I'm Joy Lynn with Coverance, your in-house property management, and I hope I get to meet you all. I've been leaving voicemails and emails, and if I'm pestering you, I'm sorry, but I'm going to because I want to make sure you know that we are here to take care of your clients' property management needs and leasing needs. So many agents do it because you want to hold on to that contact, but there's risk, there's hassle, it's a time suck, and it doesn't give you a big return for your investment. So focus on what you do best, selling real estate. Let us handle your property management. I also want to introduce the blue envelope. We all love the red, the purple, and the green envelopes. We now have a blue envelope, and our first blue envelope is going to Corey Adamitis, if he's here.
Nope, he's driving back from Michigan at the moment.
Okay, so Corey has been great at referring clients to us, and so he has a referral fee coming his way. And I want to let you all know, refer clients. We take care of them, we incubate them, we give them right back to you. And the two that Corey referred are actually people he has never had a transaction with. His ISA started adding property management to their script. He signed up 2 people, we got clients, and now he has clients with us that we are even incubating in more depth for him. So people he's never had a transaction with are going to get referred right back to him when they're ready to buy or sell. So don't forget about Blue Envelope and Covariant, and I'll pass some of these around.
Cool, thanks. And you know, you reminded me of something. 2 weeks ago, Brad talked about the property management dispute where the agent represented a seller, a seller. I'm sorry, that one was a tenant. They represented a tenant. They placed the tenant. The tenant ended up not performing, and the agent made like a $1,200 commission, and then they ended up getting sued and they lost $5,000. Do y'all remember that? Okay, so we broke that record last week. An agent represented a landlord, failed to do a full credit verification when they put the tenant in. Tenant didn't pay. Landlord won $12,000 on an $800 commission. There's a reason that we have an in-house property management company to do leasing, to do your PM work. It's just not worth it. For the $800 commission, they pay a great referral fee, and then we'll incubate the client and give them back to you. So that's the end of my plug. All right, anything else? Any other housekeeping? No, yeah, we inside of our database, we use a thing called Appfolio. We can actually track who referred, so when the client's ready to sell, we can give it right back to that person. Is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the same thing goes out. We don't sell houses at all, so it's basically free money. You get a free check from her for doing property management, you work for us, commercial. It's free money. It's the easiest money you'll ever make. And we won't interfere with selling houses.
We need pink commercial referral envelopes. We're going to do pink envelopes for the commercial guys. I like it. Okay, let's talk about the market. So Monica's here. And when Monica's here, I get excited because that means that the market's weird, right?
Well, Aaron would have been here too, but he had an appointment. But we hope that this is a good one to go to.
Yeah, so it's the market's a little weird right now, right? So I'm going to give you some opinion, but mostly I'm going to share my research. So the things that we talk about week after week after week that we look at are what? The key things that drive the market. Inventory, right? And inventory drives price.
Days on market.
What's eventually going to be our ceiling to price?
Interest rates.
Affordability, which is affected by interest rates. And then what are our indicators on the direction of the market? Days on market and original list price to final sold price. All right, so that's kind of what we've done is we've been able to track these things month after month after month after month so that we have trends. Because all that market analysis is an analysis of trends. Right, John?
Right.
Yeah. So John, you have a degree in? Yeah. So I always get nervous when you're here because I have a feeling you're going to raise the BS flag on me. I dropped out of economics class. I don't know. So let's start with our language of real estate. So what's our language of real estate? Not all at once.
Comparing the market center to market.
So the language of business is numbers. So and real estate's a business. So the language of real estate is numbers. And so what we're going to look at is what's the market doing month over month or year over year rather, and then what's our market center doing year over year. What does that tell us?
Whether we're doing better on the market.
Whether we're doing better or worse. Now, if the market's up 10% and we're up 10%, how are we doing? We're not doing that good because we're just a cork on the water. You're average. Now, if the market's up by 10% and we're up by 5%, our business, if you looked at that 5% in a vacuum and you say, yay, business is up 5% year over year, it's easy to get excited. But that's why we benchmark against what the market's doing, because if the market's up 10 and we're up 5, what's that tell us? We're underperforming the market. We're actually below average. Now, if the market's up 10% and we're up 30, what's that tell us? That you guys are kicking butt, that you're making the market, you're not waiting for it. So let's look at a couple of things here. So number one is closed units. And we're going to look at MLS, and we're going to look at KWCV. So year over year, the MLS, is it up or down in the number of homes sold? Down? Down how much? Down 9% year to date. Okay? Now here's the interesting thing. If we look at this same thing, but instead of units, we do dollar volume, it's only down 6%. What does that tell you? Prices have gone up, so even though we're moving less inventory, it's higher priced, so the delta is only 6%. Now, new listings coming to the market, are we up or down? Up. We're up 3%. So what's going on with the market? Closings are down, listings are up. Which direction is inventory going? So this is the weird part that Monica's talking about, because month over month, inventory is down significantly. Even though when you look at more listings, fewer closings, inventory should be what? What the piece of the puzzle that you're missing is what? How many are currently pending? Yeah, so, and we're going to go over that in just a minute. So how do you think you all did? Closed units year over year. Now, and I always love to point this out. Remember, last February, you were the #1 office in San Diego County. So if you just matched yourself, that's pretty good, right? Yeah. So what if I said that you beat yourself by 8%? So what that means is that you guys as a market center are outperforming the market by 17%. Why do sellers and buyers care about that? Because we're active, y'all are selling real estate. So when they hire an average agent, they're going to get 10% worse results than they got last year. When they hire you, they're going to get 17% better results than hiring an average agent.
How did that compare with the other companies now?
I don't have that right here, but what I can tell you, we are #1 year to date. What I can tell you is year to date, Coldwell Banker's gone backwards by 19%. Sotheby's is up 3%. And they're the only one other than us that's actually up. And they're up 3, we're up 8. Coldwell's gone backwards by almost 20. C21's backwards by almost 20. Berkshire's backwards by 18 or 19. So most everybody else is going the wrong direction, and you guys are going the right direction. So that's good, right? So we have more agents. There's more agents joining the company every month. But this represents growth year over year. So you're benchmarking against us having more agents, so it's already in there. Okay, so now here's the coolest part. And I want to give credit to our luxury committee for this, because they've made luxury such a big push. And where does luxury show up for us? In sold dollar volume, right? So year over year, your closed dollar volume is up 37%.
What's considered luxury?
Over $1 million semi-custom or better. So what that means is, in terms of dollar volume, you're outperforming the market by 43%. Why does that matter?
Somebody who has luxury home wants to hire you.
Well, I think any seller that looks at this and they say, wait a minute, so you're telling me you get 17% better results in the number of homes you sell, but 43% more in terms of getting a higher price point than the average agent? It's an IQ test for them to hire you. It is. Listings taken, you guys are up year over year 38%. So what that means is that you're outperforming the market by 35% in listings taken year over year. 35, yeah, because the market's up 3, we're up 38, so you're up 35 over the market. Why does that matter? You're making more sales. How do buyers find property? signs online. And what are they looking for when they find a property? A property. They're looking for another listing. So when you have more listings, two things happen. One is more buyers call you. And more buyers say, hey, I saw your listing over here. Can you show me another one like it? And two is more sellers call you and say, hey, I saw this property you sold. Can you help me sell mine? So if a buyer sees this, why should they be excited? Because right now there's 4,223 single-family homes on the market, and anytime you get below 5,000, it just gets weird out there. And so you guys are listing 35% more property than the average agent is, or the average firm is, which tells us who's controlling the inventory. And if you're controlling the inventory, who's able to put the deals together? The person that controls the inventory. All right, so Michael Lewis will put together a nice piece on this, but how would you all say you're doing on a scale of 1 to 10? Well, there are no 10s in the Chris Heller world. There's always room for improvement. I think you guys are an 8.5, 9. So give yourselves a hand for this. All right, so let's dig into the things that really move the market. And I want to start with one thing that I think was a little surprising to me. Okay, so affordability is measured in quarters. And we just got those are Qs, by the way. So it's Q3 and Q4. This isn't a handwriting class, this is a stats class. So it's measured in quarters. So the first thing I want you to look at is condos. And the way that affordability is defined. CAR's Traditional Housing Affordability Index measures the percentage of households that can afford to purchase the median priced home in the state or region defined. Okay, so to get that, it's the percentage of households that can afford to purchase the median priced home. So across the country, or across the entire state of California, condos, what percentage do you think you had in quarter 3? 39%. So 39% of people could afford to purchase the median priced home. So now in quarter 4, what do you think? Up or down? It's flat. Now I'm going to give you a hint. This is the only one that's flat. And the other ones are all going to go the opposite direction of what you think they're going to go. So now let's look at the US. So across the country, quarter 3, what percentage of people across the country can buy the median priced home? Across the country, not the median priced California home. 56%. This is condos this is California. That's all of California. I meant to start on US and then drill down, but I got out of order. So it's 56. Where do you think it went in the fourth quarter? Up or down? Okay, so this is where I say it's going to go the opposite direction of what you think. Housing got more affordable in the fourth quarter of last year. What happened in the fourth quarter of last year? Did they go up or down in the fourth quarter? They stayed the same. In some markets, they went down. But what happens to price seasonally in October, November, December? There's this thing, it's called snow. We don't have it here, but it affects home selling conditions. So this isn't, what's interesting is in the market, when you're in the market, does it feel like housing got more affordable in the fourth quarter of last year? Heck no, not here it doesn't. Now let's look at San Diego. No, this is combined. They don't break it out for San Diego. What percentage of people can afford? This is nationwide, all combined types. So here, I'll do all types nationwide. Okay, so San Diego County, what percentage of people in San Diego County quarter 3 could buy a house? 24. Where'd it go in quarter 4? Up or down?
Down.
You guys didn't learn, it went up. 25. So housing got more affordable in San Diego in the fourth quarter last year. Now to put this in perspective, if you go back to Q4 2014, it was 27%. So we're still, even though it went up quarter over quarter, we're still less affordable than we were a year ago, all right? Now, there's a really good book out there. There's a guy, his name's Dent is his name. And he talks a lot about how this number is the number to watch for recession territory. Does anybody know what number he says? 17% is what he says. So what does that tell you about where we're at today?
Strong market.
For the foreseeable future, we're probably going to do okay. That's if he's right, at least. Now, could there be something else that happens between here and there? All right, y'all get these numbers? So, now what do you think is going to happen to affordability in the first quarter of 2015? 2016, thank you, Dan. What do you think? You think it'll go up or down?
Stay the same, about.
What's happened to rates?
Interest rates have gone down. So affordability.
Interest rates have gone down and price has gone up. How much have interest rates gone down by?
Not by much.
Quarter to maybe a half? So a quarter to a half. So what's a quarter to a half to 4%? I would say 4% is the whole. What's a quarter or a half mean in terms of a percentage correlation? A half would be just over 10%. How much has price gone up in the first quarter? Like 2 or 3%. So don't be surprised if this bumps all the way up to 26 at the end of the first quarter. Okay? Is that? No. Because the price is going up slower than the rates have come down. Okay? Does this sound economics so far? All right, good. Yeah, I feel like I have a fact checker in the room. I like it. Yeah. So, all right, let's see what SDAR has to say. And I've got a couple of things that I'll share with you from this. So, monthly indicators, this is available from SDAR. You can custom brand them to use to send out to your clients. What they say is the primary story both nationally and in local submarkets is a dwindling month supply of inventory. We know that. The cure, of course, is more inventory. What a revelation. But new construction has been lagging during this opportune moment. Now, what's going on there? What's with the new construction lagging? Well, if you look at new builder production compared to where we were in 05 and 06, where are we? We're at about 40%.
05 and 06?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, so we're at about 40% of where they were at the previous peak to the cycle. Now, what Gary talked about in the vision speech is what? The reason we're so far down is why? A lot of the contractors just flat got out of the industry, and the people that were the trades have taken other jobs, and they've moved to Nebraska to work on oil rigs or Texas to do natural gas. And so a lot of the blue-collar labor is not in the workforce, so contractors haven't been able to ramp up at the same speed that they did in the last cycle. So the good news about that is it's going to actually slow down and probably make our recovery a little bit more sustainable. But eventually, will we always see a shift? Yes, is the answer.
I'm seeing more new construction right now than I have.
Oh yeah, you're at the peak. You're at this cycle's peak of new construction. So we're going to keep moving through it. So sellers of existing homes are not yet hitting the market in droves. The heart of the selling season is yet to begin, so we're still optimistically watching for an increase in activity in the coming months. Their things they call out are closed sales decreased 12.3% for detached homes and 1.3% for attached. So where's the market shifting to? Condos, right? So condos are what's continuing to move. Why? Yeah. All right. So nationwide, housing starts were up by 10.8% at the end of 2015 when compared to 2014. And the unemployment rate is holding steady at 4.9%. Mortgage rates continue to astound below 4%. And we've witnessed an unprecedented 70 consecutive months, 7-0, of private sector job growth. As consumers navigate and weigh their options, competition for the best available properties should be profound, especially if the market remains hobbled by a lack of supply. So what y'all are seeing with everything moving, you can miss the price a little bit high in today's market, and what happens? It's going, it's selling if it's in a desirable area. So I'll write down a few things here. Average sales price. So if you've got detached and you've got attached, where do you think we're at? Detached, we're at 688, 638. There's your affordability issue. Oh, thank you for your donation to KW Cares. I appreciate that. Attached, you're at 405, 949. So that kind of illustrates why people are running to that attached inventory. Now, let's look at inventory. How many homes annually typically sell in San Diego County? In a year, annually. Like 32 to 37,000, somewhere in there. Last year we finished out around 36,000. So if we had 36,000 sell throughout the year, if you don't adjust for seasonality, how many should sell each month? About 3,000. So if I told you that there are 4,443 SFRs on the market, how long, if we didn't list any more real estate, would it take us to sell off that inventory?
5 weeks.
Yeah. So we'll talk about months of inventory here in a minute. But what does that tell you about the market? It's an extreme seller's market. All right. Now, if we look at attached, so here, months of inventory, they're calling this, and I apologize because I gave you confusing numbers. SFRs, we generally sell about 24,000 of, because this is just detached. So this is 2.2 months of inventory on the SFR side. Now, attached, we currently have 1,683 on the market. And on average, we sell about 1,000 a month. So what's that tell you? How much inventory do we have? About 1.6 months. Now, if you were trying to explain what this market looks like without knowing anything else about what's actually happening out there, what would you tell buyers and sellers?
Nothing on the market, the properties would be depleted in 2 months or nothing.
Yeah.
If the property is priced to sell, it's okay.
Yeah, if the property is priced to sell in this world, you're going to get multiple offers. Now, here's the interesting thing. Even with all the price gains that we've had, I just want to point this out. If I go back last year and I look at dollar volume of closed sales, there's a term to get your head around. It's called market velocity. And I can't define it scientifically, but here's what it is to me. That's the feeling. That's what you feel if you're standing on the treadmill of the market. Market velocity is how fast you feel like your feet are moving. Does that make sense? So dollar volume of closed sales, and I'm going to just read off some numbers. Going back to March of last year, 1.394 billion. April, 1.544. May, 1.563. June, 1.765. These are all billions. Okay, now we come into the winter season. November, 1,053,000,000. December, 1.353 billion. January, 901 million. February, 921 million in a leap year with an extra day. What's the market velocity feel like when you hear those numbers? Is it, if you were selling this time last year versus right now, what is it going to feel like? It's going to feel like you were running at a 6 and now you're running at a 4. So you're still running, but it's going to feel a little bit more sluggish. Yeah. And that's the dollar volume of transactions that are trading. Now, percent of original list price to final sold price, I didn't think anybody would be able to see this, so I made it big on here. Because this is you know, when I saw that affordability had come down, it kind of piqued my interest to see, you know, homes had become more affordable. It piqued my interest. So let me, I'll close all my stuff.
As of end of February, those numbers?
Yes, that's as of the end of February. Good.
So it should be growing because we're getting more in the season. It's down, it's a 4111 live right now.
Yeah.
So it's going in the wrong direction.
Yep.
It should be-
So if the, tell me when you can see this. If the, whatchamacallit, if the inventory is down, rates are down, what should be happening to the original list price versus final sold price ratio? It should be tightening. It should be higher, right? Now, I told you, market stats are all about trends. So when we look at this, what's our trend from last month to this month? Well, sorry. So on the bottom left, right here. So this is SFR, single family residential. What's the trend from last month to this month? We actually went the opposite direction. For having record low inventory, sellers actually got less than what they were asking for. In February. Now, by a tenth of a point. Now, on the condo side, what happened? It continued to run up. So now, here's what I want to look at is seasonally, what do we expect to happen in this market? So I circled the last 4 January to February transitions. What happened here? What direction did it go? Up or down? Here, up or down? It went up. Up or down? Up. What happened here? Down. So when Tony DeSello talks about us being in a funky market, this is the best illustration I can give you of a funky market. We're at record low inventory levels and it's more affordable than it's been, yet sellers aren't able to get their ask price. Or they're moving further off of their ask price to get the home sold. So what that tells us is there's probably some false confidence that's leading sellers to overprice property, and that may be coming from the agent side potentially. A multiple offer, but the multiple offer should bring that final sold price closer to the original list price. So, is this interesting?
No, I'm saying, they're getting multiple
Yeah.
offers, so they're thinking they can be aggressive.
Yeah. Wouldn't this be good to have on a listing presentation to show the seller so that when they're choosing their price, they don't try to hit a home run 20% over the last comp? Yeah. So we'll make sure we send that out to you.
One month like that, it's not a trend make, I mean,
No, it's not a trend make, but that's a watch signal. It's not a buy signal or a sell signal, it's a watch signal. It's let's look at what happens over the remainder of the quarter, but it's weird because so consistently it's gone the other direction, and typically it's like a full point swing. It'll go from, like here, if you look in January of 13, it went from 97 to 97.5. In January of 2014, it went from, it looks like 96 to 96.5. So the big jump actually looks like it's usually happening in March. Last year, we went up almost a full point. We went from 94.5 to 96 and almost a half. So you're absolutely right, and I appreciate you pointing that out, that it's not, we don't get too excited about 1 month, but it tells us we should keep our eye on this, okay?
Scroll that down a little bit.
Jeremiah, why, go ahead, sorry.
How does the new home inventory affect these numbers?
So that's a great question because the new home inventory is typically not listed in the MLS, so it's not going to hit these numbers. These are only MLS sales.
And keep in mind, these are county-wide too, so that in some zip codes, and I can tell you 92130 is one of them, it's still multiple offers, selling above list price. So that's still happening too, and to Jeremiah's point, that's something just to watch.
All right.
Without a doubt.
So now what's the second indicator? So there's original list price to final sold price. What's the second indicator that we watch to tell us where the market's going if we're into a change? Okay. So let's look at the DOM, as they call it. So days on market for single family homes, where are we? 44. And where are we for condos? 35. What's that mean? Really nothing without looking at the trends, right? So if we looked at the same trend that we just looked at there, typically from January to February, and actually, let me see if I can, I didn't save the whole thing, I just had that one slide. If you look at January to February, so January 1, 2013 to February 1, 2013, we went from 70 days on market down to about 66. January 2014, we went from 56 days on market down to 52. January 2015, we went from 50 days on market up to 51. It was right about flat. This year, last month, we were at 43. And where are we now? But we were at 41 here. And where are we now? So again, what's this all telling you? The market's hot, and what else is it telling you?
I think that they're selling fast.
But it's selling slower than it did. I mean, if you go back to September, we were all the way down to 37 days on market.
Those are detached homes, but the condos are
So here's what it tells me, is that if a seller's realistic on their pricing, they're gonna sell quickly. If they're trying to hit a home run, I think buyers have too much information to overpay for property, and there's just enough inventory to where they're not totally getting beat up into submission to where they'll just pay whatever it is. And then what's the second piece that's not allowing them to just pay whatever the price is? Yeah, the appraisal, but why does the appraisal matter?
It shows the market value.
Because it shows market value, but in the past, the appraisal would come in and then what would happen?
They bring money to the table.
The lender would challenge it. It would go back, they would get a new appraisal that would come in higher, and then they'd close anyways. So there were big changes in the HVCC, which is the Home Valuation Code of Conduct this last year, that you can no longer do that. So now you've got this new reality to where appraisers are going to be more conservative. Do you all know why they're being more conservative now? Because appraisers can be held liable to buy back a loan. So with the new changes to HVCC, if the appraiser comes in way over value, or they leave things off of their inspection remarks, and the loan goes belly up, the lender or the servicer can actually go back to the appraiser and say, we're printing this one on you because it was a bad appraisal, you're buying back the loan. And so now, how much more careful do you think appraisers are being in this market versus others? How many of you have recently seen an appraiser that the appraisal came in and you thought, wait a minute, I thought this was an appraisal, not a home inspection? Because they had, right? You're seeing it, I'm seeing a bunch of heads nodding. That's why that's happening. And I think some of that is what's pushing some of this. That's why you're not seeing the pricing on the SFR side run quite so quickly as it has in the past.
So as an illustration of that, I just had my house appraised. A year and a half ago, it appraised at 1.2 million, and the other day it came in at $1.05 million. Now you tell me how House and Poway, in a desirable neighborhood with one of the best views there on the best streets, went down 150 grand. So I got my wife. Right now, my wife gets the appraisal, and she calls me. She's like every seller in the world. She's just irate, and I just laugh because I know that if I put that house in the market, it would get more than the $1.2 million, right? That it appraised for last year.
Aren't
So-
appraisals typically lower when you try to appraise it yourself and before it's on the market?
Yeah, but that was a lot. And then when you, and you know what I mean, and then when you get into the details, you see the appraisal.
Magically, the contract value seems like
Well, right, you know, I did a video on this. I did a video on this that I sent out to y'all a couple months ago. Who saw my appraiser video? Did anybody see that? I'm so glad y'all watched it. I mean, I feel like that's a great investment of my time to make those. Yeah, we'll send it again. So what I say in the video is that, you know, I have a good friend that's an appraiser, and what she told me was that our job as real estate agents is exponentially harder than theirs. Why do you think she suggested that?
Because you guys especially have to deal with the human person that wants to enter their house. You think it's worth more than the market.
Could be that, but to take the human factor out, just determining the value, why is their job easier than ours?
Big ones, that already happened.
Well, because they already know what a buyer's willing to pay that a seller's willing to accept. So generally, the step one of the validation is already in place because when they get an appraisal, they get the sales contract. And the appraiser's role in today's world is to really check the box and say, okay, if you have to buy this thing back as a lender, is there somebody else out in the world that's willing, that we believe would reasonably be willing to pay a similar price for this property? That's really what an appraiser does.
They're not sent out to establish value at that point.
Right.
They're there to confirm
Yeah.
your contract price. So it is different.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to run through, got about 10 minutes left to run through a few other things. Housing supply overview, again from SDAR. Inventory is the primary need as we work our way into 2016. Total months of supply in many categories and price ranges is too low to sustain a balanced market. For the 12-month period spanning March 15 through February 16, pending sales in the county were up 10%. The price range with the largest gain in sales was what? 500 to 750. And in that range, they increased 23.1%. So those homes in that 500 to 750 market are moving. Overall median sales price was up. Market-wide inventory levels are down by almost 19%, 18.8%. The property type that lost the least inventory was what? Single-family homes in total. Where it decreased 16.2%, and that amounts to 2.2 months supply for SFRs and 1.6 for condos. So how are you going to have that conversation with a buyer seller? Inventory is down 16.2% year over year. Why do they care? It's a good time to get on the market. There's less competition for sellers. Now, is there more or less competition for buyers? More. So if I'm a buyer and last year I was looking at property and I had 5 choices, how many do I have today? 4. So what that means is almost 20% of my options are off the table. And so you got to help buyers understand that now you kick into that, interest rates going up just there, and it could be down to 3 options instead of 4. So you got to help them quantify it that way, that this time last year you probably had about 5 options for a property. This year you're only going to have 4 based on the decrease in inventory levels. And by the way, 2 years ago when we first started talking about you buying, you would have had about 8 options, and now you have 4. Maybe 4, yeah. So, and as interest rates going to go up, if they go up by 0.5%, that 4 turns into a 3. Yeah, and they will eventually.
Any of you have sellers, or any of you have owners that have a property that they own, whether it be an investment property or they live in it, that's not in a real desirable location? Yes? I call them, now's the time. In a market where inventory is tight, the best time to sell a property in a less than desirable location. We talk all the time about location. The best time to sell those properties is now. Why? Because there's no competition, and buyers just to jump on something in this market, they'll go for that house.
Why is the value?
How much the average price of product and the next price went up to
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Jeremiah went into, just cut this down for me, because I got a little bit sideways here. So
Yeah.
our list price to sales price, is that going up?
No, it's going over the last month. It went down.
Doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
You have no inventory,
Uh-huh.
right? You have the lowest interest rate still in history.
Uh-huh.
There's no buyer frenzy,
Mhm.
basically.
There's,
There's no sense of urgency
Yeah.
on anybody's
Take your
part.
listings at too high a price.
I think what it is we're seeing, like, we pulled data for one of our competitors last month, and they're averaging 83% list to sales price ratio. So that means if they list a house for $1 million, they sell it for $830 eventually. And so you're seeing a lot of agents put signs in the ground that the price is so out of whack, and then they don't have the skills to get the price reduction, and so they're.
But it's not going up at all, even like a little bit prices, right?
Well, so let's look at that, because Deanne just asked the same thing. So on properties 500 to 750, where was it? The median, well, hang on. I don't know, I may not have the exact number that I'm looking for.
Still zip code and price.
Yeah. So,
And I think to your question, Monica, I think a lot of it is that graph, the January to February. And I think sellers are going for massive overprices, and it's showing up in that number because they're not getting it. And we need to pay attention to that January, February, and see where that blue line goes, if it continues to go down or if it levels off and or goes up.
So-
That's all.
I mean, when I joke about where the problem is in this room, but it is, the only answer is agents taking listings too high because the supply and demand economics are the complete opposite.
well, and how many,
If you look at Rancho Santa Fe, no one in here lists a lot of homes in Rancho Santa Fe. I mean, they're at 79%. My offer is 68% of original ask, and I got accepted. There's people just disillusioned on what's going on, so they just keep listing homes at these crazy prices. So those numbers are going to get dragged down.
so here's the answer to your question. And will everybody participate in this one? Yes? So yes? Okay. Raise your hand if you feel like we're in the strongest economic times, in the middle of a robust recovery, and you feel confident going out and spending more money on a newer, bigger house. There's your issue. I don't know.
Everybody is waiting right now to see what's going to happen.
We're in a wait-and-see economy, and then our presidential candidates are not
Are terrible.
inciting a whole lot of confidence.
Well, look, and I'll tell you all this too, that here's another thing. So in running our escrow department and being married to an escrow officer, I will tell you the cancellations are up. Have you seen that? So think about being a buyer in this market, right? Multiple offers, what happens to my psyche? Oh, somebody wants it as badly as I want it, I'll pay more.
Yeah.
And how many more times in that counter process do you pay more? And then, hey, I'm winning, and you pop the champagne, and you wake up the next morning, yes, I just do. And you pull the plug quickly, and we're seeing that, a lot more of that right now than we've seen in the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
What about like the buyers, the makeup of the buyers? Are we still seeing more cash in the market?
I don't have the stat on that.
That type of thing?
I don't have the stat on that.
I don't think that's changed.
Yeah, it's probably about the same. All right, I want to share with you two tools before we leave. One is, everybody knows this screen, right? You go to log into Sandicor, and you go here. If you're an NSDC, I remember. If you click the little right arrow, there's this thing called 10K Research and Marketing. It's a member benefit that you get through being part of SDAR. And so to Enza's point, if I want to search, and I just want to run Carmel Valley, thank you. So now I can pull stats by that one market area. And then to answer Deanne's question, if I want to see 505 to 798, and I want to see original list to close, or I want to see the price per square foot.
Stop, go back to I want to show you something. All right, so here's that blue line, red line, right? And the blue line's going up in Carmel Valley.
No, the blue line is San Diego County. The blue line is San Diego County, the orange line is Carmel Valley.
But it's going up, right? So, again, to Adam's point, it's very zip code driven, right? Very zip code driven.
Very good.
So look what's happened to price per square foot in Carmel Valley. In the market, what's it done? It's kind of laid over. In Carmel Valley, what's it done? It's kind of laid over. But if you go back 12 or 24 months, we're up, right? So just, there's a lot of things that you can use inside of this tool, and it's already free. It's free for you. So it's a really cool tool to use. You can do it, and you can compare. So like if you have a client, if I could spell today, this would be a lot easier. I'll show you one more time. So if I have a client that's looking at San Diego, Encinitas, and so let's say they're looking at Carmel Valley, I can actually lay, and I can say, well, look, let's look at how many active listings there are, and you can lay them. Oh, that one's not going to work real well. So let's look at market times, average days on market, and so you can look at one community versus another versus the entire market.
You can also look at it in a bar graph, which I think is easier.
Yeah, and you can do 3 years. You can do it by bar graph. So this is for InfoSparks, it's a really good tool.
And I'm hearing it, I'm seeing it right now. Very few agents know about this.
Who knew about this before today? 4,
What
5.
difference is it when you're out on the listing appointment and you're going up against another agent? You have that information to share and the other agent doesn't.
And if they're selling in Carmel Valley and moving to Encinitas, is this data they're going to want to see, especially if they're analytical. Okay, so that's one. And then 2 is, this one is, I don't know if anybody reads Inman, but this morning they talked about you can throw away your crystal ball because the best new value predictor is here. So we say this over and over and over again that big data is going to change the real estate industry. What does that mean?
It's a good catchword.
So yeah, it's a good catchphrase. So what is big data?
Information.
So basically, we're at this point, we're generating more data than we ever have, and we've got the computing power to analyze that and make some future predictions that generally have been fairly accurate. And so these guys, they started a new company, it's called Weiss Analytics, and for $99 a year, you can subscribe to their tool as an agent. And I just bought one because it's $25 a property or $99 a year, and I wanted to see what it was about. And so I just picked a house that recently sold in an area where we're going to be buying, and show what this shows me is last year, what was the price change? And they actually give a forecast based on all their data and all their analytics of in the next 12 months, what's going to happen to prices. And you do it by community, by area, by zip code, or by individual property. And then if you want to estimate the value of the house, I can go right in here and say,
Where's
2.7 at Rancho Bernardo.
Oh, is it in Del Sur?
Yeah.
So is it going up how much?
So 2% in Del Sur is what it's saying. So then I can actually go in and select the homes that are similar comps, and it'll give me an estimated value. And then once you select the comps, you can go back and it'll adjust. There was no adjustment here, but it'll adjust based on what you just did.
So are you getting that for the office?
No, but here's why. I would be scared as
So you buy
all you know what. Yeah.
Because that was,
I'd be scared as all you know what to hand this to a buyer. Why?
You said it was going to go up 2%.
Yeah.
And it went down 2%.
It went
No,
down.
it will
Yeah.
go up.
But so,
If you're buying new construction, you go, get in on the lower,
Yeah.
it will go up.
so why am I showing this to you?
Because they have it. Buyers and
Well, here's why. I want you all to be aware of the conversation that's happening in the market, especially in this market that's driven by engineers at Qualcomm and these high-tech, highly sophisticated people. You better believe that they know about this, and they'll bet the farm on this kind of stuff, because that's the world they live in, is data-driven, analytical. And so as an agent, should you at least know what it is, know how to use it, and know how to talk about it? Yeah.
And here was the best thing I heard at family reunion regarding that point in this stuff. People are data rich and insight poor. So what is our value proposition to provide that insight? right? Because they've got all this stuff. We need to be the local area expert and be able to provide the insight in order to get the work.
Where'd you get that, Jim?
Some guy said at a family reunion. I wrote it down.
Some guy, Gary Keller.
Some guy. Yeah.
All right, what'd you guys learn? I want 2 ahas before we go. What'd you learn today? So you can pull graphs on Paragon. What else? What was the second thing?
How do we get to those info parks?
Hang on just a second. You log into Sandicor to get InfoSparks.
That is a crazy market.
Then it's a crazy market. All right, I'll take it.
More questions than answers.
Thank you guys.